Morning, everybody. Welcome to Left of Center.
Good morning, Mayor.
It's an award-winning, Pulitzer Prize-winning
I
podcast.
thought Pulitzer Prizes for books.
Yeah, they made an exception for this great
Like
podcast.
Daytime Emmy or something.
Yeah.
What can we win, John?
I think we are up for an Emmy.
What's the pod? Well, this is episode 20.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We're into our 20s. We're out of our teens. We're no longer teenagers.
We should have like alcohol or something to celebrate.
Why is it always like, let's go to alcohol?
What are we supposed to do? Cheers our coffee?
No, I mean...
Hey! 20th episode!
20 episodes.
Woo!
That's pretty lame.
That would have taken me 20 weeks at WJLB, and now it's only taken 10 weeks.
Wow, doubled up.
Doubled
up.
I know. That's excellent.
Congratulations on
episode.
20. Good work,
God,
John and Lindsey.
fast.
We've learned a lot in 20 episodes.
We have.
Mm-hmm.
We've learned about the cuss counter.
Hey, guys.
We've learned about Lindsey.
Oh, look at
You
Lindsay's
learned what
here.
about me?
Hey, Lindsay, welcome back.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys know this is our 20th episode on 10/20/2020?
What?
Get the hell out of here.
I
See?
discovered that yesterday.
That is pretty awesome.
10/20/20 with our 20th episode.
That's pretty cool.
I love that.
That is really cool.
Well, if
actually.
that's not a reason to remind people to subscribe and rate us.
Thank you.
We had some, by the way. Thank you to somebody rated us.
Really? Are we gonna read it off?
Roxanne, I believe.
Oh, we got to read that
Yeah,
out.
she-
Mailbag.
she
You
did.
going to get that available, John?
We got a couple mailbags, by the way, everyone in the production area of this podcast that have not been written up for mailbag. John, Lindsay.
Well, we could just read them. But, Lindsay, you want to go ahead and do your section?
Please remind everybody, Lindsay, on what we need to do.
On what you need to do.
Yes.
Hello, guys.
Good morning.
It is 10/20/2020, and you are listening to Left of Center, where we cover everything from politics to important events of the day in the Midwest and the nation, all while trying to have a little fun while doing it. If you can't get enough of us, follow us on Facebook at Left of Center Podcast or on Twitter at LOCPOD LockPod. If you can't listen in live, download our episodes from the Apple Podcast or Spotify app and enjoy our show at a crystal clear 310 kilohertz per second. Just search Left of Center and look for our red and blue logo. And if you would like to sponsor an episode, please contact me directly, Lindsey McDermott, or on our Facebook page, Left of Center.
You don't have the commercial.
I don't.
You want to go get them?
Yeah, we need to go print those off.
I could carry time. How long
Yeah,
is that
carry
gonna
us
take?
along. 1
All
minute.
it took was 20 episodes for this train to
Well, you
fall
know what?
off
We
the
could-
tracks.
Well, you know what? Selena, I like this. Selena on Facebook said alcohol for the 21st episode when we turned 21.
Thanks,
Oh,
Selena.
I like
Good
that.
call.
Yeah.
That's Friday, too.
Yeah.
Drinking on a Tuesday is problem drinking.
This is when we don't have a third. We need like an intern so they can run down and get the sponsor stuff that I left in the printer.
We do have an intern. It's Lindsay, but I don't think
No, I'm going.
she's a college student still. So
Yes, I'll
yeah.
go get them.
Okay.
You keep talking about
So
the
you want me to go ahead and
Yes,
we're going to do picks of the week. Okay, guys, we decided to do this. Go ahead, Kevin. I got this.
Oh, I want
Yeah, I've
this.
already cut away from
Well,
Kevin.
come back before it's
All right.
done.
You can
leave.
All right.
We're gonna go to Phil by the time
Because I
want
want to hear Lindsay's picks.
Well, we have to like print out the list. So
All right.
all right. So Lindsay, now we're gonna bring on Phil for Phil's lock of the week. Phil is 0-5. So what we wanted to do, Lindsay, was match you up against Phil. By the way, like to the audience out there, my daughter is not into sports, right, Lindsay?
No.
I mean, my family's sports crazy. Lindsay was always a reader. She was always in the computers doing her thing, gaming and stuff like that. Never really. I took her to Notre Dame games. I don't think you've even been to an NFL game, have you?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I've
Been to baseball games and stuff like that.
I've been to a couple of baseball games, but mostly I've just been to Notre Dame football games.
Right.
But I don't pay attention for the
Yeah, you don't know who's in first
I
place.
don't know
You don't know
who's
who
on the
plays
team.
for right.
I just learned who Lou Holtz was. So
Okay. So anyway, so basically what we're saying is Lindsay would even describe herself as a novice when it comes to NFL picks, right, Linz? I mean, this doesn't have to be just NFL, but you really don't like study this kind of stuff, right?
hell no.
Okay. So Lindsay, all I could tell you is
How did I do?
That was really good. You're back. But now, so Linz, we're going to go through 5 picks that Phil has made so far. And then for the rest of the season, we're going to match you up against Phil. And then, John, let's make sure we're ready to go to Phil next, okay? But so, Lindsay, I don't care why you pick what team. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Basically, Phil's 0-5. So no matter what you do, you're going to be better off than Phil, I imagine. Even if you know.
Yeah.
So we're going to go
Okay.
through 5 games.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
These are 5 games that Phil already picked.
And already
But
lost.
Lindsey has no idea about
Phil is 0-5. And then from this point forward, you and Phil are going to match up, and there's going to be a $10,000 prize to whoever wins at the end of the season.
This is
Okay.
exciting.
Paid for by our sponsors.
Yes. Speaking of which, we do sponsors first and come back and do this.
You want
it's a
to?
teaser.
Okay, sure.
Yes,
Let's
go.
Okay.
Okay.
Attorney Alfredo Estrada at Burke Costanza and Carberry. With locations in Maryville and Chicago, Alfredo is one of the most experienced lawyers in the areas of immigration and civil litigation. He is also available at the Hammond Legal Aid Clinic to help with DACA and all other immigration-related issues. Call Alfredo at 769-1313. Adelante con Alfredo.
Latitude Commercial Real Estate is a full-service commercial real estate brokerage and property management firm specializing in northern Indiana and the Chicago suburbs. Local tenants to national developers have benefited from Latitude's experience. When you select Latitude Commercial, you get Chicagoland expertise with worldwide marketing and networking ability. Whether you are a developer looking to sell, a tenant looking to expand, an investor looking to purchase, or an owner in need of property management services, Latitude can help. Contact Latitude at 219-864-0200. That's 864-0200 or latitudeco.com so they can get to work for you.
Misprint Printing. With both Munster and Hammond locations, Rick Baltonsberger and his team are there for absolutely all of your printing needs. Misprint is responsive, fast, and good. Banners and signs of all sizes, from wrapping cards to business cards. No job is too big or too small. Call Rick or Teresa at 219-836-2517. Thank you to our sponsors.
Before we get Lieutenant Governor candidate Linda Lawson in here, we've got some work to do.
Yes. So, Lindsey, we're going to go through 5 picks that Phil has already made, and we're going to match you up, okay? You got the microphone?
You have to say under oath, Linz, do you have any knowledge of NFL football games this year?
No.
Good.
I mean, I know that COVID kind of messed things up for a while, but that's about it.
But you have no
You're
idea.
not following the games. You're not watching football on Sunday.
Okay. All right, here we go.
I honestly, I thought that football was on Monday every week.
That's exactly the answer
That's why we
needed.
picked you. Okay, Lynn. Okay, you ready? First
Okay.
game.
All right.
The Atlanta Falcons versus the Chicago Bears. This took place a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
the
late
Atlanta
September.
Falcons versus Chicago Bears. And the Atlanta Falcons were giving up. They were favored by 3.5 points, and they played the Bears.
So you need to say, who would you have bet on in that game? Who would you? We need that ding,
Oh,
ding,
God.
ding, ding, ding. In the Jeopardy, John, the Jeopardy little timer.
Being so close to Chicago, I feel like I need to choose the Bears, but I'm going to go with the Falcons because I feel like everyone complains that the Bears suck.
Okay.
every
All right.
year.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do we have the?
Okay, so next game, Lindsay. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the San Francisco 49ers.
And the 49ers were getting 8 points.
Yeah, the 49ers were underdogs.
I don't
and
know
they
what
were-
any of that means.
Good.
Well, no,
even
like,
better.
so you take the 49ers score and add 8 points to it. And then
And they still would win. But it does. All right, even if you don't know, it's even better.
Okay,
Eagles,
wait, is
49ers.
Eagles or 49ers?
Right.
Eagles are green and silver. They have a big,
I know
like
what
a
an
wing.
eagle is.
Okay, and then the 49ers.
Yeah, but do you know of a green eagle?
You know, you want to hear something? The one thing I know about the 49ers is that I know that in the 90s, everyone in California liked them, and also that they're based on the California Gold Rush.
Yeah,
there you go.
True.
I feel like the 49ers have sucked for a while,
Okay.
but I think I'm going to choose the 49ers.
Okay.
All right.
I think it's about time that they
There you
have
go.
their
Okay.
comeback.
Fair enough.
Now, next,
Man.
Tennessee Titans versus the Buffalo Bills. Okay.
Tennessee
Titans. Now, the
Buffalo
Buffalo Bills
Bills.
were favored, and
By
they're
3
favored
points.
by 3 points.
Buffalo Bills, and they have like a bison.
I know
O.J.
what a
Simpson was on their
Buffalo
team.
Is. What was it, the Titans?
Tennessee
Titans out of Nashville,
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Right.
I've never even heard of them before. Let's go with
They
them.
used to be the
That's
Houston
fun.
Oilers.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Next game. The Indianapolis Colts versus the Cleveland Browns. The Colts were underdogs by 1.5 points.
I still don't. You can tell me whatever you want about them. I still don't know. Okay. Well, we're in Indiana. I'm gonna.
Indianapolis, though.
This is true. Who are they playing? The
Cleveland Browns.
Colts? Oh, I want to go with the Browns.
Okay.
All right.
All right. And then last but not least, the Green Bay Packers versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Green Bay, storied franchise, and then Tampa Bay is interesting because it had Tom
I hate
Brady.
the Packers. Let's choose the Buccaneers.
All right.
All right. Here
Well,
we go.
My best friend's a Packers fan, and she's really annoying about it. So
if that's not a good reason to bet against her friends, Linz, what is?
Okay, and then now quickly, Lindsay, I need you to write this down so that you're not persuaded by Phil.
Okay.
And then hand it to Kevin or me when you're done.
okay.
The Giants this week on Thursday, The New York Giants are playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, New York Giants versus Philadelphia Eagles. We've already talked about the
Don't say
Eagles.
anything. Just hand me your piece of paper after you write down who you think. And the Eagles are favored by 4 points.
Yes.
New York Giants, red, white, and blue. Philadelphia Eagles. You know what an eagle looks like, but not a green one.
Yep.
And we're gonna keep that here, and we're gonna let Phil do his pick.
Okay.
All right.
The good news is, Lindsey, you are winning 3-0. Phil has 0 for 5, and you are 3 out of 5. So just randomly.
Just like that, she's already 3 games ahead of
She
Phil.
is. I mean, what the hell did we go to Phil Taylor on for?
We should have just asked Lindsey for a pick.
We could get like a dartboard and be better off than going to Phil Taylor.
Well, and, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
but we have Lindsey. She's better than a dartboard.
Hey, we need to pull up Talon real quick. I know he's waiting. He's
Phil,
probably.
are you on?
Are you awake?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Phil, how's it going?
I'm doing well.
Did you
How
wake
about
up this
yourself?
morning and say, "Oh no, I've got to answer to this pick of the lock of the century"?
The
last
lock
week?
of the century.
It was close though. I got to give you credit. What was it? 38-10.
the lock.
Yeah.
Phil's
I'm a
lock
little
of the
tired
week.
too. Kelly's had me pick up some side night jobs, pick up some of the losses. So
I mean, are you still at home?
Yeah, that's the question. Where are you waking up this
Right.
morning?
it's quite possible that I just woke up. Yes.
Well, no, I mean, you are home though. That's good news. It's like,
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
thank goodness. Because I mean, Kelly's got to be getting frustrated with this losing streak of yours.
Yep. Yeah. We once Carter found out that his college fund had been pillaged.
Been pillaged.
Pillage is a good word for what you
just
did.
as upset.
So, Phil, you're down 3-0 to
3-2.
our football expert in here, Lindsey McDermott.
Lindsey's 3-2. You're
Lindsey
0-5.
doesn't know a damn thing about football, and she's beating you 3-0. Like, literally, like Lindsey doesn't know anything about the NFL, Phil.
Lindsey
She's
was
kicking your
3-2. You're 0-5.
0-5.
That's our
I
current.
like to think that I'm a little bit psychic.
Oh, there you
Really?
go.
That must be it.
Well, let's try this then. Phil, Eagles Giants Thursday. We're going to be able to talk about this on Friday. Lindsey has her pick. I have it right here.
We will unveil Lindsey's pick
right
after
here.
you announce.
After you
Phil.
announce, it's Eagles -4. Although Tom says he's got him at -3.5.
That's DraftKings.
And there's your pick. Eagles Giants. It's in Philadelphia, I believe.
I would go with your second instinct, Phil. Your first instinct, and then I would automatically reverse it. Okay, that's just my advice to you.
What would Jimmy do?
Yeah, maybe you should call Jimmy. Like he's not on a losing
I
streak.
mean, have you guys ever heard of the law of averages?
Yes, that's why we thought.
There's
That's why we
no
bet
doubt
Green
about
Bay
it.
with you. We bet Green Bay with you Sunday because of the law of
I
averages.
did bet Green Bay.
I did too.
I bet hard Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, there's no goddamn way Phil could lose 5 in
I
a
agree
row.
with you.
How freaking horrible do you have to be to lose 5 in a row?
I agree.
So I'm like, I'm betting hard on Phil's bet.
I
right?
give credit to John Vesmar, although you were in Vegas and you took Tampa. Good thinking. You must
John-
have been
yeah.
getting some good advice.
So John, you automatically win against Phil just because?
I did.
well, I mean, but you've got burned.
I got burned bad. So, yes, I went against Phil.
And you made your money back.
I did. But, too, I mean, Tampa Bay Rays, they're
Yeah.
going into the World Series.
It's a
So
Tampa
I thought
year.
that energy is going to carry
Well,
over to that
and the
game.
Tampa Bay Lightning has already won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
interesting.
You didn't even
thinking.
know that,
Wow,
probably.
no, I
See?
did not.
I didn't hear that coming from
Sounds
Phil.
like I didn't
that
know
would have
that.
been solid reasoning for Phil.
Like it's Tampa's year.
Yeah.
And
But
here
he
I
didn't-
am,
Right.
the amateur whatever.
Right.
Just like I think the Rays are going to the World Series. I'm going to bet Tampa.
I've noticed Phil isn't too talkative this
I
morning.
was thinking the same thing. It's like, is he snoring? He's like, I want to go back to bed. I just want to
Yeah.
roll over.
Phil used to have a pep in his step. It's
Yeah.
gone.
No, guys.
You should have
Sometimes
seen him
you
at the
have to hit
game.
Rock bottom
Oh.
to start going the other direction.
All
Phil,
right.
like I was
This
texting you.
competition between Lindsey and myself is exactly what I needed.
All
right.
This is gonna be the inspiration I needed to.
Well, we'll see if you guys
to
are on
turn
opposite
the
ends.
Old Phil.
Okay, Phil, give
What
us
do you got?
Phil's. I wish we had build-up music, John. Do we have John?
The only thing I have for Phil is this.
I mean, that's all you need with Phil's
That
lock
is
of the
all
week.
I need.
That's literally describes Phil's picks perfectly.
we do that again?
sound.
Yeah. It's louder.
Yeah, I
for
assume.
people.
I want Phil to just, like, after he
Phil.
hears that, then go with his pick. All right, Phil.
What is the lock of the week, Phil?
The lock of the week for Thursday night
He doesn't even have it in his voice.
He had to take a breath.
Yes. What do you got, Phil?
is definitely the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right.
Minus
You
4.
and Lindsey are on the same page. Eagles, America. The election is coming up. We got to be patriotic. Lindsey McDermott.
That's Lindsey's pick.
That's how she did it.
Phil, why did you pick the Eagles?
Yeah.
Lindsey likes the American Eagle, basically.
Because she's patriotic and the election's coming up.
We got to support our country.
That's right. Phil, how did you come to Philadelphia?
I think they're just going to win this game. They had a tough game last Sunday. They were actually fighting pretty hard, right, until the very end. So
Against the Ravens.
I think they're going to pull this one out.
All right, America.
Well, good luck to you and Lindsey.
Thank you, Phil. You're not going to pick up on Lindsey this week, but the good news is you won't lose ground to Lindsey this week either. So
all right.
We'll talk to you
Just
Friday
tell
morning.
Lindsey to get ready for Sunday.
All right.
There you go.
All right, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks. America, you
Good
heard
guy.
it. Phil's lock of the week is the Eagles, so take the Giants, America. Go against Phil. A surefire. If you had taken our advice, you'd be like a millionaire right now. If you bet every game.
5 weeks, if you bet like $100,000 a week.
Yeah. You'd be loaded right now. If you were
Just going against Phil.
Just
Maybe
go
somebody
against Phil.
did. Maybe
Yeah.
one of our listeners did.
Yep. So there's Phil's lock of the week.
All right,
So,
let's
thanks.
do it.
All right. Hey, let's talk a little bit about a poll that just came out. I know we got Linda Lawson coming out in a
Yeah,
couple
our
minutes.
lieutenant governor candidate.
Yeah, you know,
She
it
is
showed
in the house.
Is she?
Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
good to have a.
we just had a Survey USA poll done on 900 Hoosiers. I thought it was really interesting. Just last week, the poll was done. It showed that Donald Trump, who won Indiana by 17 points, 19 points in 2016,
19, something like that.
he is only up barely above the margin of error in Indiana. Thought that was real good.
I think that's right. That's interesting because
Yeah.
if that's similar nationwide, and I don't know if it is or not. I mean, it's all anecdotal, but knowing Indiana, and Indiana was, called it probably 601 in 2016. He was up by 17 points over Hillary, and now he's only up by 7 over Biden. I mean, if that's a trend, that's not good. That's not good for the president, but I guess we'll find out.
But this poll showed a tight governor's race, which is good news for Linda Lawson. We'll ask her about that when she
Yeah, like a
comes in
tight
here.
three-way, right?
Tight
it was
three-way
like
race.
with the Libertarian.
The Libertarian is getting a significant chunk of votes.
He's
taking
pulling it from the governor.
Right, which is only going to be good news for the Democratic nominee,
Agreed.
Woody Myers and Linda Lawson. So it showed a tight three-way race between those three, and it showed a tight race for the Indiana Attorney General also. So it
We've
appears
had
that
one of our guests,
right,
Jonathan Weisapple, for AG.
It appears that he's tightening the race against, and I think it's mostly relatable to the unpopularity of President Trump for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like there was in 2016, we thought John Gregg and Christina Hale were going to win for governor, and because of the popularity of Donald Trump and
Yep.
how he killed Hillary in Indiana,
Absolutely.
they lost by 6.
They got
lost by
swamped.
6. They got swamped because
It was
of
a red wave.
Absolutely.
Well-
So it's interesting. And the thing about one thing I want to mention about Jonathan's race, Weisapple for Attorney General, was there was 17.5% undecided still in that race. So
Yeah.
and that was well within his margin. So that's interesting too. If that's
Hey,
going to be a tight one.
Did you watch 60 Minutes this week?
I saw part of Fauci's.
Did you see it, John?
No.
I thought Fauci was.
He's pretty solid.
How about this? So we're watching it. I'm watching it with Patrick and Marissa, and I said Fauci's going to get fired tomorrow. Like that was my first instinct. I'm like, he's literally like giving the FU to the president of the United States, and he's like, go ahead and fire me, big guy, because like there will be hell to pay if you fire me. So Fauci's like super comfortable. Right
Yeah, and
now.
I think Trump acknowledged that. I think he said
did.
you can't fire him
Right.
because
Can't fire him because there'll be a backlash.
Right.
But Fauci was just crap talking the president of the United States on 60 Minutes. He was saying that he wasn't, basically the president won't wear a mask because he views that as like being feminine. He views it as if you're manly.
A weakness.
Yeah, it's a weakness. Only weak people wear masks, and I don't need to wear a mask because I'm
Only bad soldiers get captured.
right. And then people, what else did he say? He said he was not surprised that the president of the United States got sick. He described the Amy Coney Barrett hearing as a super spreader.
Yeah, and looking back on it, it is
Wow.
pretty amazing
He
how
said all that on 60 Minutes on Sunday.
And you wonder, was that taped before or after they? Remember Fauci got all pissed off about the ad that they ran.
Yeah,
where, like,
he talked about that.
Did he?
Yeah.
So that was after.
He
was
talked
interesting.
about it. He talked
Okay.
about it. He said, I've been in like 4 presidents. I've never endorsed. I've never talked politics ever. They did that without my permission, and I was pissed off when I
I
saw
wonder
it.
if that's why I did the interview.
He said that on 60 Minutes. And like
So it was after that.
he
happened.
is like totally like repudiating the president of the United States, his boss. And I mean, normally a president would say, okay, you got to step down now.
I mean,
We don't see eye to eye, but you can't do that because everybody loves Fauci.
normally you don't even know who the head of infectious disease is.
Absolutely
in the country, right? I mean, isn't that part of where we're at?
It's going to be Dr. Atlas soon or whatever. his
Oh
name is.
yeah, the herd immunity man.
Yes.
But by the way, so if Biden does win the presidency, as I expect,
We hope.
I imagine Fauci stays in his position. But just think if that happens. So Biden comes in, he leaves Fauci in his position. How untouchable is Fauci in that case? He's like almost more popular than the president of the United States in a
I think
situation like
he's
that.
gained some significant popularity. There's been no other infectious disease doctor as popular ever as Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
I think
My
that's
wife
right.
loves him, but he has Secret Service protection now because of
It's
death
crazy,
threats.
right? I mean, that's today's. Unfortunately, that's what
Yeah.
happens today. You get all these
What?
trolls and
What? You're saying the
threats.
truth? Oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna.
You're going against President Trump, or
Yeah.
you know,
So we are threatening. They threatened his wife. They threatened him. His wife, who's not a public person.
You could tell
They
She's
showed
very,
them-
very quiet, and
They showed him
Yeah.
walking in D.C. They have like security guards around him. And
he's
stuff.
a power walker.
Yeah, but still. By the way, I thought it was interesting that Senator Lamar Alexander, Republican from Tennessee, came out and supported Dr. Fauci. Said basically, if we all listened to Dr. Fauci, we'd all be better off. There'd be fewer deaths. We'd be going back to school. Our economy would be doing better. I mean, Donald Trump can't be happy to hear that.
I think what you're seeing is you're starting to see some Republicans, like kind of like rats off the ship. I don't know if you heard Ben Sass last week, John. I'm sure you did. And then, I mean, and the weird thing is like I don't know.
He's always been a rhino.
I agree, but in at the same time, it's like where are these guys the last 4 years? Then they sense he's losing and they jump. So it's like
I'll say that. So I had no idea this was going to happen, but I was on the Strip in Vegas, and Trump's motorcade came by. I will never forget this moment. It's dark out. It's night. He's in the limo by himself in the back. He looks right at me, waves, and he looks so tired and just
Are you serious? You saw
downtrodden.
him?
Yes, I was like the only one on that part of the Strip,
Mm-hmm.
and it lasted all but 2 seconds, but it's like burned in my memory how just down he's kind of looked. Remember when he got off? What was that? He got off a helicopter one time. They made a big stink about that clip.
That was
it looked just like that.
That was after his debate. Or not his debate. His big. He was supposed to have a big rally
in El Paso.
And nobody showed up.
Yeah, or no, in Oklahoma, right? Oklahoma City or whatever.
I want to say Vegas, but whatever. But he showed. He got. It was Oklahoma City. That was just.
And he came. It was on his way back to the White House.
Exactly. Nobody showed up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The energy just seemed down.
Well,
maybe it was just because it was just you out
John?
there and nobody else. It's just this guy.
Yeah.
He's hated. I mean, the president of the United States. I've never seen
by a
I've never seen
percentage.
the level of hatred I see for this man amongst anybody. I'm including the first African American president of the United States. I'm including Jimmy Carter. I'm including some bad presidents. Okay, and by the way, like I look back on the George W. Bush era and feel bad about how bad he was treated by the Democratic Party, but it was nowhere near.
That was just regular mistreatment.
That was just regular, like it wasn't partisan stuff.
The vitriol that you get now.
George W. Bush was a nice man. Like he was a gentleman and a nice man, and I didn't see eye to eye with him.
Sure,
but
policy wise.
But as far as I personally,
I didn't like the guys around him.
I think Donald Trump's evil. I really just don't like him. I'm looking forward to the day he loses. It's going to make me super happy to watch him lose. Actually,
I think it's going to be better for the country. We got to get back on track, everybody.
Our country is in bad shape right now, and we are not better off than we were 4 years ago. Not.
Like you said, we're wearing a mask and can't. like, how am I better off? I can't go to Chicago.
So I get into an argument with Phil about this a lot. Is what comes first, like the attacks on him or his reactions to it? And I think
he's the president, so you're going to get attacked, right?
Right. But I've never quite seen a level of this before, and I think it goes both ways. And actually, Romney just came out and issued a thing like this recently. He's like, both sides. I've never seen it so just. I
just wish that his reaction to being attacked as the president didn't become so personal to everybody.
Just
like
say
little Ben
in
Sass,
prison.
or right, lock everyone up who says anything bad about me. I think
which doesn't seem to be working this time around.
No,
people aren't responding well to saying lock them up.
I noticed that at the rallies.
Yeah,
he's
right?
trying to get the lock them up chant. It's not going.
No, it's like the world's changed.
It's
in
different.
4 years.
It's different. Well, they're onto him, I think.
Well, do you guys want to start getting Linda
let's
back
get
here?
Linda
and
Lawson
then
in here.
while Lindsey's bringing Linda back, I'm going to talk about some upcoming guests we have on our show. On Friday's
Don't
show,
say Bernie Carter again because we've
By the way,
fooled everyone twice.
But Bernie will be back. He has a family situation he's dealing with right now.
Agreed.
So, but on Friday's show coming up, we have a gentleman named Eric Tonk who's going to be our guest. It's going to be a great show. This gentleman is a Gary resident. Rode his bike around Lake Michigan.
Did like the Lake Michigan tour on cycle.
Yeah.
On bike.
So it was a 1,000-mile trip. I'm going to talk to him. Like I want to find out a lot about
what
this
your
journey.
equipment is. Where'd you camp out?
By the way, I'm planning on doing this next summer. So
1,000 miles.
Yes, around Lake Michigan. It's going to take me 2 weeks, and I
is
want
gonna
to
be
talk
fun.
to Eric to get some advice. Hi, nice to see you, Linda.
Linda's here.
Our Democratic nominee's walking in. Okay, and then 1 week from today,
Have a
we
seat.
have right here, Linda.
Come on in and have a seat and put those.
And then 1 week from
Headphones
today,
on.
we have Woody Myers and Mike Andrade in the same
in
show.
the same
They're going to
show.
be doing half the show each. So we're looking forward to that. That's a week from today. And then the Friday show after that, we have Representative Chris Chung, who's going to do the show. And then Tuesday, Election Day, we're going to do our normal show that morning. I'm not sure.
I think we're going to do just the evening.
Oh, we're just doing the evening? So we're not doing the Tuesday morning show.
We're gonna do an election night
We're
special.
doing election night on Left of Center. So we're going to go, instead of doing Tuesday morning, we're going to come that night and do
Correct,
Left
November
of Center
3rd.
on election night, which is great.
The news is out. The special show.
Special evening show.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Matt Reardon is already committed.
Oh, man. Special
Get
guests.
the cuss counter going. Oh,
Hi,
with Linda, maybe we have to get... No, we can't even
No
say
way.
that.
Nice to see you, Linda. How's everything?
Come on up to the microphone. Scoot up there.
I'm on my way.
Yes.
Oh, as close to the table as I can get.
Yes.
I'm just a little scary.
We want to
I'll
get
tell
you on
I'll get back
camera.
Okay.
How you doing?
And we'll
Linda?
socially distance.
I'm nervous right now.
Really?
Tell me
well,
why.
You know, when I first started this, I thought, oh, we've got so much time. You know, it's going to be forever.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be, May, June, July, August. Wait, plenty of time. And now when it's 2 weeks, I'm like, if we just had a couple more months. But I don't think that's even possible.
It's coming.
Yeah,
real
it's here.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether we want it or not.
I'll be honest
right?
with you. I think you guys are doing really well, Linda. And I
do
think you're
too.
running a real great campaign. And quite frankly, having a doctor leading the ticket
Yes.
during a pandemic is
Yes.
incredibly fortunate for the Democratic Party.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, we have a medical doctor that's...
A smart doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a famous doctor, too. Helped Ryan White with
Ryan?
the AIDS situation.
Yes.
He's been, the leader of doctors.
Health officer over on both sides of the aisle. I mean,
Right.
under governors from Republican and Democrat, so he's
That's right.
going to be fair to everybody.
Right.
And and plus has a very tough retired Hammond cop as his running mate.
Yeah, it's a great ticket.
Our personalities are pretty different, if you can imagine. He's very low key, and he's very he's got that great bedside manner.
Absolutely.
And I'm ready to pound the table and go for
That's
somebody's
you.
throat.
But
and so
that's supposed to be, that's a great ticket, though.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I do. Our backgrounds are different, but they've been melded, really well.
Well, and you've been so good at being in attack mode down at the legislature. I know for so long, having to do what you needed to do for everybody up here for so long, and I think as minority leader even,
Right.
So you're used to being in fights.
It almost killed me too.
Yeah.
I left in a rage. There's no doubt about it.
You were fired up when you left the legislature.
Oh, just a rage.
Linda, I remember one time I was at Kevin and I do a CLE every year.
Oh, yeah.
And you were at a speaker at this. It was the legislative preview, right?
They do it in December, right? Right before the
it's
session
December.
starts.
So you're getting ready to go. I think it was your last session too.
Probably.
And you and Brian Bosma were on the same panel.
Ooh, it was over guns.
Oh my!
You're right.
I'll never forget
Oh,
that.
he
I was
gave
like,
me the stink eye.
oh
like
my
you.
God! Linda was ripping on Brian. He was the Speaker of the House. In front, there's a crowd of 1,000 people watching.
1,000 people.
And I'm like, oh shit, Hammond's gonna get screwed this
Yep.
year. Like,
Yeah, here we go.
Linda's pissing off the Speaker
There goes
of the
the
House.
legislation.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah, it was over guns. And the moderator, I told him, I said, I don't really think you want to go there. I mean,
And he
goes,
did.
I do want to go there. And I thought, okay, I'm on if you're on.
That was-
And I looked at Brian and said,
Here
whatever.
we go. Blame
Yeah.
the moderator.
It was right after the shooting we had in Kokomo, right?
That's right.
That's right. That was, I was so like, oh man, Linda's letting this guy have
She's
it.
gonna fire
The
it
Speaker
up.
of the House
Yeah.
is, in Indiana, the Speaker of the House is super powerful too, right? I
Oh.
mean, dare say almost as powerful as the governor.
Absolutely.
Sets the
More,
agenda.
More.
Right, because they could override
More.
the governor with a majority.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and Brian was not my favorite person regardless. I have a lot to say about him, but when I did
You could say it.
leave-
I don't think he's voting for you. So
Yeah, he's not, certainly. No, he's working now for the casino industry that he fought against
Right.
for all those years.
Isn't that
yeah,
coincidence?
now he's got, but
By
that's
the way, they
his,
swing a big deal on the way out for new casinos and
That's
Terre
right.
Haute and all
That's
that,
right.
and then suddenly he's like representing them.
Yeah, and he voted against him the whole time I was
Right?
there.
Isn't
yeah.
that incredible
Yeah.
how that works out?
Yeah.
Coincidentally, I end up with a
Maybe
like,
it must have been his constituents that didn't want him.
I don't think so. I think that, he just knew that, sooner or later his days were going to be, numbered. He was not a good leader, not at all. You can be a bully and be a leader, and you can be a compromiser and a leader. And he was definitely not the compromiser,
Yeah.
All that BS about working across the aisle,
That was-
absolutely
So
not.
why does Indiana need you and Dr. Myers?
Why? Because they're both smart.
Yeah.
And because we both have a lot of experience, life experience, and, just the daily grind. We're both good, we're both smart, we're both dedicated. We both love Hoosier land.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it more today than I did 6 months ago because I've been places and seen things that I've never thought in a million. And I thought I was a Hoosier,
You are.
And I've traveled the state. Jim and I spent a lot of time going to Peru, Indiana, where Cole Porter's from, because I'm a Cole Porter fan, and visiting places where other legislators lived that I admired and respected and want to know their homeland too. And there is, believe it or not, there's more to Indiana than Lake County.
Well, you live.
It's good to know.
You're current.
I mean, you moved
resident.
from Hammond to
Nashville, Indiana.
Brown County,
2
right?
years ago. Hammond is always my home. Always will be.
We appreciate that.
I know every square inch of it. Worked in
Yeah.
a squad car 9
You
years. You cannot not know every
It's
square
funny, Linda,
inch.
to hear you say that. I say the same thing about Hammond. I'm like, I know every. If
Throughout
somebody
a
says-
street, you're like, I know where that is.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then when I have someone who's in from out of town that doesn't know me as well, I've got stories. So I'm like,
Sure.
I get to one street and I say, I can tell you about blah, 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 blah,
Isn't that
and,
funny?
And then you drive around and goes, by the way, that house right there, it's like,
Right.
turn it off, Linda.
Well, and let's
turn
not
it
forget
off.
about this, right? I mean, I think for those that may be listening or maybe not know you as well as we do, is that you were the first female police officer in Hammond,
Right.
hired by Tom Senior, right? Or
I thought it was Wiskowski. I know you got promoted.
Wiskowski.
Yeah.
It was,
Wiskowski.
yeah,
Okay,
it was
hired you.
Wiskowski. Yeah.
He hired you, but you got promoted under my father, right?
Yeah. No, I did not.
Really? I gotta
And your
talk to him
dad and
about
I
that.
had a conversation
Well, this
about
is a
that
picture
one
of
day.
him, not
you were a
Abraham
captain
Lincoln.
already? Yeah.
No. There was a lawsuit with the EOC that Paul Walker and Pete Therese were involved in.
Yeah?
And they won that lawsuit with the EOC.
Really?
And I was the first person to have benefited from that.
Really?
Yeah. I got my first promotion after 20 years.
Wow.
By the way, I just have to say this to you. Politics should be out of the police department
I agree.
completely.
I agree.
Completely.
I agree.
It
You
just
know-
creates problems.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But one good thing I could say about my leadership as mayor is I've had the same administration in the police department. I don't jack them around.
Yeah.
And by the way, you mentioned two great people: Pete Torres, who's on the Hammond City Council
yeah,
right now,
yeah.
or for a retired Hammond cop,
Yeah.
and then Paul Walker, who's
Yeah.
on the water board actually.
And he's been
Leader.
a community
Unbelievable guy.
activist
Yeah.
for as long as
a
I've
leader
known.
of the community.
Yeah.
Like that's why he's on the water board. He's a leader of the
they're
community.
great people. They're great people,
Absolutely.
and I said
Absolutely.
thank you to them a million times.
Yeah,
because
and I know they love you. They
it was
they talk
really
about you.
bizarre how that happened. Because I had to sue the city for 2 years to get my job through
sorry.
EEOC,
That sucks.
and that was in the old days. You know,
Right.
And now you've paved the way for a lot. I mean, we have now how many female officers?
Tons.
Yeah,
I don't know,
a bunch.
15 or 20.
Yeah, when I left the department, there were still only 5 women
No,
and
we have a lot now.
218 men. So we are not four men, but force on our
Right,
department.
right.
But yeah, things have changed considerably. A lot. They've changed considerably. I mean, I know I was hired in the old days, but everything from the academy just to I was a full-time art student at IU Northwest, and so that
Wow.
That was a big change.
yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I
So-
loved it, and but I was divorced, and I had a 3 and a 5-year-old. Well, at the time, 2 and 4-year-old, and
that's
it was
when you
like
took the
find
job.
a freaking job. So I did. I went to Lever Brothers, and I went to Inland Steel, and all the places that I thought I could get retirement, have insurance, and stay local, and didn't want to leave Hammond. So that didn't work out. So I was reading an article in a Red Book magazine at the dentist office on Calumet Avenue in Munster. And I knew a couple of the guys on the department that I went to high school with. And I was like, well, if they can do that, I can do that.
Was it hard physically for you? I mean, I know because they don't relax any of the standards for women. I mean,
Oh, no,
that's-
not at all. I was the first person in the history of the Hammond Police Department to take a physical agility test.
Was it hard?
It was still the same thing. I was running 5 miles a day because I knew that eventually, because of the attorney that had been assigned to me through EEOC, I knew that eventually I would get this job. And, but it was, that interview process was hell, absolute hell. Yeah. They asked me what kind of birth control I was using.
outta here.
I am not
If that's
kidding
not,
you.
and so what year are we talking? Early 80s?
75.
75.
Really?
Wow.
Damn, that's early though. I mean, that's early. I'm not justifying anything.
I
but
know.
you were like a total trailblazer.
Oh, you
45
have. That
years
was
ago.
just one of the things.
I know, 'cause
I
once-
mean,
once-
I could write a book.
Once you
and
got
I
on the
will.
force, you should write a book. But once you got on the force, the harassment didn't end there.
Oh no.
Right?
Oh no.
you were the only woman on the force, and I know that
Oh.
there was men on the force whose wives didn't want them to work in the same car with you and things of that nature, right?
There was an article in the Hammond Times. They interviewed police officers' wives about how would you like to have your Linda working with your husband on
a
afternoons
bunch
and
of bull
midnights,
crap.
not days,
Isn't that
but
funny, right?
afternoons and
It's
midnights.
just like, wow.
You're like,
I have a
thank
copy of
goodness.
that article. I'll show
Yeah.
it with
What a
share it
bunch
with
of-
you. It was just. It was endless. And finally, I said, that is it, no more. You are not talking to me. And Frank Dupay was the mayor, the chief at the time.
Right.
And actually came to me and said, thank you so much. I said, if you think you're sick of it, I am really sick
So
of
how
it.
does that experience, right? I mean, obviously those are tough experiences. How do you think that helps you in the legislature in the past and also now on the
I've
trail?
been through a shitstorm in my lifetime. There is no question about it. It's like one thing after another has happened in my lifetime. But I want to tell you what, I have no regrets, none whatsoever. And every crazy experience I've ever had in my life has made me the person that I am today. And I believe that with all my heart.
Yes. So when did it start to turn? Because, I mean, I know eventually you became a very well-respected amongst your peers. When do you think that finally changed? You know, like where they went from the woman on the force to one of my coworkers. Like, it happened. So
Yeah, it did happen.
did it take you
happen.
10 years? Did it take you 5 years?
Well,
I mean,
it started, we used to go through a really brutal initiation. You do know that, right?
no. Like hazing?
Like I was paddled with
Yeah.
a 5-foot paddle.
Yeah, we did that on the boat, on the submarine. We did stuff like that.
And they dressed me up as a black pimp. This was all the FOP stuff,
Right.
and
Back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
right.
really, but I had to do it. I didn't have, like people have said to me, why did you do it? And I said, I couldn't not do it. I'm working with 219 guys.
By the way,
18
when
guys.
I was in the submarine, they dressed us up as like, we had to dress. Well, first off, we were in our underwear and wet, and we were in
Yeah.
the North Atlantic, and they sprayed us with water, and they made us like do disgusting.
Sounds like a
things.
blast.
No, they
Yeah.
made us do disgusting
Yeah.
Wow.
things. It was like it's hazing like that. And by the way, like in the old days, when the FOP was part of the problem in Hammond, and it was very discriminatory. They're borderline racist. In fact, even when I took over,
Borderline?
yeah,
I take it a step further.
I agree. Like there was a situation before I took over where there was an old picture, and Hammond police officers in this old picture were making symbols, and I don't know what the symbols meant, but I didn't. That was enough for me just to see these symbols. This, by the way, this took place in the 90s. This was not under my administration, but we did have problems in the Hammond FOP with race relations, and I can only imagine, when they make one of their officers dress up as an African American, and that's just inappropriate. Like nowadays, something like that happens, people get fired.
Well,
But
there,
back then it
there
was-
was a laundry list of all the stuff that occurred that day. Everything from pouring Carol syrup down my pants and kitty litter, and then hitting me with I've got the club. I hung it in my
I
library
wonder,
in
so
my
they
new
don't do
house.
stuff like that anymore. Obviously, I've never
No,
heard of an
no.
initiation. I wonder when that went away.
It went away in the 80s. It went
it?
away sometime in the 80s, the late 80s. It went away. But it's interesting because the state FOP came to my house it was last summer, summer of 19, and they had an award they had wanted to give to me, and we just never could get together. And they came over to the house, the state officers. And we went out for dinner together, and it was a really nice day, and they gave me this great award. And they walked past the paddle that was hanging in my library.
That was the one?
Yeah, I kept it. Damn well I kept
Wow.
it. I look at that every day. Anyway, they said, we've never heard of anything like that. Are you sure? And I said, everybody signed it. Their names are on
There
it.
you go. I
know.
think that's good proof.
Memorialized.
Yeah, so, there was that first year was a nightmare in every way that you could possibly imagine. And had my phone number changed a dozen times.
Yeah.
They gave me a uniform from the Chicago Police Department that women were wearing, and then I was told if I wanted to work like a man, I had to dress like a man, and so they sent me down to Sklarowitz. And I've got my pants were only...
And that's a uniform company.
Yeah,
Yep.
I weighed 114 pounds, so my butt is this big, and I have no pockets. They're already sewn together in back. And it was just ridiculous. Just everything imaginable that could have happened did happen.
Did anything like physical ever happen to you? As far as like, if you're arresting somebody, did they look at you as a woman and say, "I could take this woman"? I mean, anything like that?
There was only one incident that occurred, and it was up on the lakefront when Bobby Beach was still in operation. Yeah, for what, please? Okay.
No comment.
Yeah, I want to hear about it. Turn this thing off. Anyway, up on Bobby Beach, and there was a woman in a vehicle with two men. And they were all inebriated to the max. And I was there with a Whiting officer in car 1, and I was working car 2. And they called me to come up because they wanted to, I think, see the reaction between me and this woman. And the fact of the matter is the train was coming, and they were over the railroad tracks.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, we called for a tow truck, but that was the only time that it was actually there was it was a midnight turn, and everybody was kind of bored and like, hey, let's get Linda out here and see what you can do. But
wow,
that was the only time, and I've never not had a backup. I've never not had someone there when I thought that they needed to be there. You know.
Well, yeah. Let's fast forward a little bit. Like, I want to talk about the campaign because I don't want to get too lost in the '70s. Although we could probably sit here and talk about the '70s,
except for the music.
Okay, you can still do the music. Tell me about the campaign trail. What are you and Woody doing? Like, I know obviously you got to kind of divide and conquer. He's got a debate tonight.
Right. He does. He's going to be making a big announcement tonight.
Nice.
During
Very
the debate.
exciting.
Awesome.
That's great. So everybody
Nobody's watching. You want to just announce it now? Or?
No, he would kill me. I mean, no, I cannot do that.
And that's on Lakeshore Public Television tonight, 6 to 7. So
That's right.
tune into that if you can, if
yeah,
you're interested in that race. And of course, everybody is, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm anxious, to hear that and going to make it part
Where's
of
the
my.
debate take place?
You know what?
It's in studios in Indianapolis, but they're each going to be in separate rooms.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But I didn't know exactly the location where this.
And
was
then you're
going
to be in another part of the state, I imagine, shaking hands and.
What am I doing tonight? I forgot. I know, but I have a big day.
Someone just
today.
tells you where to go.
Right.
Yeah, today is a big day. I've got it in my calendar, and I know what I'm doing. My chief of staff is
I'm
coming
the same
up.
way, Linda. I'm getting attacked by a police dog today. That's
Are you
pretty
real?
cool.
Oh, that's right. I heard you last week say, "Hey, please, I want to get all that outfit out," and I thought,
It's
what
happening.
are they talking about?
It's happening.
It's happening.
Good.
10 a.m. today.
I'd like to have a photograph of that.
You will. I'll give it to you. I know you'd appreciate that. So.
Lindsey, yes.
I'm doing another
Bite him
one.
harder.
Go for the crotch. Go for the crotch.
Yeah,
Go for
right?
the crotch.
I told him make sure he's really hungry.
This is going to be good.
Yeah.
Watch that on the mayor's Facebook today.
Go Hammond, yeah.
Yeah, go
Can I ask you a position on a few issues?
Yeah, absolutely.
A big issue nowadays, I always say from this studio, we could drive 4 miles to the west and buy marijuana legally in Illinois. And then obviously buying it, you could consume it, you could do all that.
Right.
But as soon as you drive across the state line, you've broken Indiana law.
Right.
I mean, what's Woody and your position on this?
Well, absolutely decriminalization, absolutely without a question. I don't know if Woody has gone as far as legalization. I have.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that there's absolutely.
Me too.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm glad.
No, I'm
was
one
good.
one of the people in Indiana government I look up to a lot is a good friend of yours, Senator Karen Talion,
Right.
who was incredibly
Champion
brave
for this.
Yeah, she's
Because
been
when
a
she
champion.
first started pushing this issue, it was
It wasn't even legal in Colorado yet.
no,
it was
She would
not.
push it, and people are like, "Damn,
Yeah,
you're
she's-
brave,
yeah,
right?"
yeah.
And now she pushes it; it's routine. But
Yeah.
like when she first started,
Yeah.
this is a big issue.
Oh, yeah. She's been doing this for 7 years. So, yeah, 7 bills. 7
Where's the
years later.
resistance? Why is there such resistance? When you're surrounded, right? Michigan has it. Illinois has it.
Kentucky is.
I don't know if Kentucky
No, well, they're
yet.
working on it.
Yeah,
they're working on it. But
right.
all of the surrounding states, except for Kentucky, have now legalized, in sales of marijuana.
At least
and
medically.
the money that the state of Indiana is losing is considerable,
I know.
and it has to be regulated. There's all kinds of
For
things
sure.
that goes into it. So it's not like, it's not like the guy in the corner of, State and Home and peddling this stuff
Right.
like they did, 20 years ago or 10
Never
years
happens
ago.
anymore.
Is that where you
Not-
go?
not in
State,
my- not in
state
my
and
town.
Homan, everybody. State and Homan.
Not in my town, baby.
Let's see. Oh, how about, like Fran Lynn in someplace?
There you go.
Let's keep it all in Munster.
Huge
Yeah.
marijuana dealers in Munster.
Yeah, let's keep it all
Well,
here.
Dr. Myers said he wanted to at least start with medical
Yes,
marijuana.
yes.
He said as soon as he gets in, he wants to make sure there's legislation for medical marijuana.
Right. It's interesting when I was sitting through committees just 2 years ago, listening to the rhetoric and the BS about, this is going to, turn us all into
It's a gateway drug.
Yeah, a gateway. It's like Nancy, what's her name? Reagan was sitting in the room with us. Just say
Nancy
no,
Reagan,
just say
yeah.
no. No, it was ridiculous to hear people which you thought had reasonable brains were the kinds of, with parents with children that have constant seizures that they can't control.
Yeah.
But medical marijuana does the trick. It's like, why would
Well, even
you do
CBD
that?
oil. Remember with Attorney General Hill? CBD oil when you got into it and the Florida. Yeah, I mean, it's,
Somewhere today he has written an article and a statement, and I'm not quite sure what. It was read to me this morning, and I tried to find out where the article is. But he is he's going after the state of Indiana because we closed churches, and he said,
I saw that in the paper yesterday.
Right.
What in the world?
He's attacking the governor, saying the governor
Exactly.
didn't have the authority to shut down the churches during the pandemic.
He's lost his mind. He
The
truly has
Attorney
lost
General
his mind.
Hill, he'd lost his mind before he ran.
Well, and he obviously has an enemy in the governor, even though they're the same party. I mean, there's a schism in that party over him.
Over lots of things.
Attorney General he's weird. I mean, and
in many ways.
Yes,
many ways.
And obviously, what he did to State Rep Mara and her friends is totally
Allegedly.
unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's not allegedly.
Yeah.
That guy's disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a
that's long
kid,
story.
this, and I always bring this up. When I was at school in California, I could not get alcohol to save me. I mean, I looked like I was 14 years old. I could not get alcohol, but I could buy marijuana easily because it was available, and you just had to go to your neighborhood dealer. But, I could not go to a liquor store and buy alcohol.
Right.
There's something to be said about that. So when I was a kid, alcohol was unavailable. The only thing I can get would be marijuana.
Right.
So, there's something to be said about making it legal and selling it out of, a weed store like they have. But you have to be 21 to get it there.
Right.
I mean, it could dry up the legal market, just the fact that it's available like
Exactly.
You would hope so.
that.
The decriminalization, I think that we had 26,000 young men and women arrested last year.
For marijuana.
Yes, for
That's
marijuana.
crazy.
That is
And they have a
insanity.
record now,
Sure.
and they can't get it expunged for 5 years.
Right.
Now that's going to affect, college loans. It's going to
Jobs.
affect buying a house,
Yeah.
getting a job.
Have you ever
It's
been
like-
convicted of a crime? Yes. What was it? Drugs, right?
Right.
Trying to
You're
become a policeman.
Yeah.
I don't want you to
Right,
work
exactly.
for us.
Right?
Exactly.
How can you be a policeman with the marijuana
a
conviction
fireman,
on you?
policeman, work for a utility,
right.
good jobs where you can support
Yes.
your family for your whole
Yes.
career. You're just wiped
So
out because
that's
Over what should be a petty offense, if
for
offense at all.
for having a plant.
Right.
Right.
It's a
Right.
freaking plant. You can
Well,
grow
which
it in
is
the
legal,
ground.
like you said, like a block from my house is legal.
Right. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
We need to get with the times, and I'm confident that you and Woody
Yeah,
would
that's
would
something-
bring Indiana into the 21st century.
Oh yeah,
in
that's
that
something
regard.
we've talked about and we agree on completely.
Can I ask
I
you-
go
I'm
I go a step further, but he doesn't.
Good for you.
That's-
And I appreciate that as a Hoosier and a voter. But another issue I think would be interesting in regards to you in particular with your background with police is the whole matter with, defunding the police and the, obviously what's going on with George Floyd protests and the murder of George Floyd.
Right.
And I was just wondering where you stood on the issue with police reform.
Yeah. Well, I have this love-hate relationship with law enforcement. You both know that,
Sure.
right? And I think it's because of my experience, and my experience wasn't the best. And especially the supervisors I had and a lot of the men that I worked with left a lot to be desired. And, it was that generational thing, like a father and a son and two sons and, every uncle and cousin. They were all in the police department. The gene pool in North Hammond looks like this. And they were, it was crazy. And they covered for each other. And it wasn't really a very, very comfortable place to be. And I have to take responsibility. I look the other way. I mean, people said to me over the years, why don't you do something?
Right.
Why don't you say something? And I thought,
Look what you were going through already.
I've already said
Right.
enough,
Right.
Like
I'm a single
being a
mom.
woman.
I want to keep
Right.
my job.
yeah,
Right.
and so, but I, under no circumstance, do I believe in defunding, and I don't know where that term came from. I don't know.
It's a bad term.
It is.
And it doesn't make-
It doesn't do anything but incite hatred and problems on both sides.
Well, look at Minneapolis. They actually defunded the police
They tried
department.
to defund the
And they're in
police.
total disarray. They have no
Yeah.
idea because crime is still going to be committed. In
Right.
fact, more so
Well, and
if you
right.
don't have a police department.
Right? And morale in the department is probably forget about it.
Right. I do know that there are ways that community resources can absolutely, totally, and completely blend with the police department and be a partner in the kinds of things that law enforcement, that's not their job. I can't tell you how many times you'd end up on a call and say, well, I don't know what to do with this one. Or, I started working in a squad car before we had one domestic violence shelter. There wasn't one in Lake County, not one. There was one in Chicago, but not in Lake County. And I was working at the Northwest Indiana Women's Bureau as their board director, and we started opening shelters throughout Lake County. But that is I wrote up $136,000 grant under Bill Clinton when I was working in personnel and training. And that grant, every police officer in a department got 8 hours of training, all-day training. We established the domestic violence unit that was upstairs that worked with the courts. Those are the kinds of things that need to happen. So we have complementary agencies and complementary services out there that can work with the department. It doesn't mean taking money away, but it does mean looking for money and complementary services. There's lots of things that can help law enforcement and not hurt law enforcement.
I know, Mayor, just in speaking to your Chief Doty, I remember him saying maybe about a month and a half ago, the police are being asked to do so much more than they used to be asked
There's
to do.
no question about it.
We have to deal with people with mental health issues. We
That's
have to deal with social issues. We have to deal, and it just seems like they're, like you said, Linda, maybe it's we need better resources pushed the right way at the departments versus taking money away from the department.
You can't. I mean, there is so much available out there. I mean, I don't think it has to be done by contracts or anything like that, but when I was working in sex crimes, division for 6 years, one of the things that I did is I shared my well, of course I had no cell phone at the time, but home phone numbers with the caseworkers that I was working with CPS all the time. They had mine, I had theirs. I could call them at home in the middle of the night. And we just took kids out of the house. And Mrs. Campbell, who lived on Highland Street, she had a slide in her kitchen and she had a sandbox in her living room, and she'd just take any kid that there was. But that was a real unique situation. But we should have access to other agencies throughout Lake County and through our area where we can work in partnership with them and solve problems. I mean, let officers do the job that they were hired to do, protect and serve. That other kind of stuff that's out there that's going on that we have no control over. Those are the kinds of things. Community policing needs to happen throughout the police department. It doesn't need to be an agency. Every officer in the department needs to practice community policing.
Yep.
And I believe in the community. If the community is behind you and cares about you and they're concerned about officer safety, they're going to be there for you, bottom line.
Yeah. And if they know the officers, I think, just using Hammond again as an example, they do Coffee with a Cop. We try to hire. Mayor's been very adamant about, I want to hire people from the community,
right,
so that our community, so that our police department looks like the community. And I think
right.
that's an important thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you're, again,
that's
going back to
You
Minneapolis,
could do.
Absolutely. And you've said that, Mayor.
Yeah, your police department, your fire department needs to look like the community.
That's right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if it doesn't, you're going to have inherent problems.
You must absolutely serve the community. That's really what our job is. I mean, I remember officers saying to me in the past, well, I hate it when they say, they pay our salary. And I'm like, they do pay your salary.
Yeah.
Dummy. Yeah, they do pay your, and that's the connection. I mean, I want to walk into a community where I feel safe and I feel that the people in that community are really invested in what happens there. That they're Little League coaches, that they're Girl Scout leaders,
right.
that
Teachers,
they're
firemen,
actually, that they have an investment there, they want to be there. And I think there's a lot we can do, but that is not defunding police to make departments stronger and better, and they serve the community, fully.
When I first became mayor, you were state rep at the time.
Right.
And you were also very well known as a supporter of the Hammond Public School System.
Oh, yes.
Your husband at the time was on the school board.
Right.
There was a huge capital campaign we just did in Hammond where we built a bunch of new schools.
Yes.
I know that you're very close to public school teachers.
Right.
I imagine you do very well with the AFT and
AFT,
right.
not ISTA.
Right. I know. That's so sad. I know, right? But AFT, so could you talk a little bit about your public school support?
Yes. I was on the Hammond School Board for 12 years, and that was interesting because I was a police officer at the same time too, and I was able to serve there. And I was really active in Kenwood School, Edgar School, Hammond High School. My girls were both, academic, strong people, but they were also athletes and both cheerleaders. And so it seemed like every time the doors were open, I was there trying to figure out what to do or trying to help in some way or some capacity. And I just thought when I was asked to run for school board, well, gosh, yeah, I could do that. I can sit on a bench. I've had bleacher butts since I was, for 12 years now. So.
I forgot you were on school board also.
Yeah.
And then you went
for
to the
12
Statehouse.
years. and then I went to the Statehouse.
Right.
That we had a 3-term rule after 12 years, and
At the school board.
At the school board.
Was that a state law or was that?
No. Hammond, there was only Mishawaka and Hammond were the only two that had a term rule.
That's the
And
kind of
so-
stuff I sue the state over.
Right.
Yeah.
I hate those laws.
Well,
when they
guess
treat us
what?
differently.
Dave Dixon said, Linda, you got to get rid of that. And I did. I
Good for
carried
you.
legislation,
Good for you.
and that was one of my first bills that I passed
the
was
way.
get rid of that for
the
Mishawaka.
lawsuit I have with Spiros right now is over a similar type of law. It's
Is
a
it?
law that treats Lake County differently than the rest of the state in regards to the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Yeah.
Those things drive me up
Well,
the
and you
wall.
fought the rental registration
Right.
for special legislation and won that. I
Yeah.
mean,
We
so-
win
Yeah.
these types of cases, but that's so funny to hear you say that.
I mean,
It makes
I
no
said
sense.
that's got to stop because
Like-
I wouldn't have I don't know if I would have stayed any longer because the person who was running for state rep decided not to run, and that just
And that
really
person
appealed
was-
to me.
was
I
it
was
Dan
trying to remember who
Stevenson?
that was.
Ron Tabazinski.
Ron
Tabazinski.
Tabazinski.
Yeah.
I still see him every once in a while.
Yeah, he still lives in North Hammond,
Yeah,
right
right.
on 141st. in
That,
the
he
same
still lives
house.
in the same house?
Yes.
No kidding. Yeah,
Yes.
he's right across the street from the councilman.
That's
Councilman
right.
Mark. Yeah.
Exactly. He is.
Wow. I didn't realize he still
Yeah,
lives
he's
there.
still there.
Yeah. No, he's a good guy. Yeah. So when Ron steps down, and so at the time, that's interesting. So you would have had to just think if that law wasn't there, you may have stayed on the school board. And
I know.
You wouldn't
I
be sitting
probably-
in the studio
That's right,
right
exactly.
now. You may still be on the
That's
school
what
board.
I mean. Like I'm saying, but
Yeah.
early on in our conversation, I said so many crazy things have happened to me in my life, but I mean, I wouldn't change any of it. You
Yeah.
know, it's just, it's made me the person I am today. I have more empathy to people. I care about people more
Mm-hmm.
because I've experienced a lot of their craziness. And
People
yeah.
tell me that, but yeah, obviously, I just lost running for Congress, and people
Right.
tell me the same thing. It's like, Mayor, things happen for a reason.
They do.
I don't
They
believe
do.
them when they say that, but it makes me feel better.
Well, it takes a while to figure it out.
Yeah,
I mean,
hopefully-
there's some of the things that I've been through that I couldn't say for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
That but there are times that it triggers something, and it's like,
but you never
yeah.
lost an election,
No.
did you? See, I have.
No.
That sucks.
And
I
I'm not
never-
going to lose.
Wow.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. You
Yeah.
gotta keep it going.
Precipice of
Yeah,
decision day.
We're in the midst of this right now, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, that was a big blow for me. Psychologically, losing.
I
And
know it was.
I'm a loser, and
I
it's
know.
like I'm trying to
No,
deal with this.
No, I know it.
I know it
it's,
sucks.
It's not comfortable.
No,
But-
it's like when people see me, they're
We're getting
like,
him back.
Oh, I feel so bad for
Yeah,
you.
we
It's
are.
like,
We're getting him
uh,
back slowly. It went from my political career is dead, that's on life support, and now it's back. So
Oh,
I think
good.
say it
we're
was
good.
back.
We're
Did I
good.
say it was
Did
back?
you have to?
I said it was back.
I'm a podcaster. now.
I'm saying it's back.
I'm not a-
Did you have to do the resuscitation? I want to know, Kevin.
That was a
No,
rough day,
no.
man.
Really?
No
I know.
resuscitation. It was just we
I knew
needed. We
it's
just needed a
6:01.
trip. We needed a trip away.
Yeah.
So we just took.
Yeah.
a
I knew
trip.
at 6:01.
I think I saw
lost.
you in the mountains somewhere.
I did,
riding
yeah.
With a
bikes
beard.
and stuff.
I
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a
And
long
dirty,
beard.
really dirty.
I was dirty.
Yeah.
I went to California and
That's
explored
good.
in a car, and then I ended up coming home and buying a new car, well, a used car. But
Well, that's it. See, he just
I
took
went-
a trip.
my midlife crisis is
Right.
It's
yeah.
over. Hopefully,
Take a
over,
trip, buy a
hopefully.
car.
That's
all.
right. That's right.
Life's good.
Let me ask you one more thing. You were in the state house in good times and in bad times. What I mean is, when I first became mayor, I always tell people I loved going to Indy, and I loved talking to Republicans and hanging out after work with Republicans and having drinks, and it was very a
It was
fun atmosphere.
amazing.
collegial,
Right?
and they were in the majority.
Oh yeah, my first 10 years there,
Right.
I chaired judiciary for 6 years, and I'm
Right.
telling you, it was the best job I ever had in my
What the
life.
hell happened, Linda? Because the place is toxic
The
now.
super majority.
But how did I know?
It
Was
happened-
it gerrymandering? Was it just the way the state voters went?
gerrymandering and voter suppression and the craziness that occurred and the money that came in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the tons and tons of money, and we lost the House.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think that Genevieve, who's 18, going to vote today for the first time for her
Exciting.
grandma.
How about
Nice.
that?
Wow.
I don't think that she will ever see a supermajority or a 50-50 in the Senate.
I hope so.
In
It's
Indiana's,
crazy.
Indiana
It's
Senate.
crazy what's
because-
happened
Right, 'cause
over
it's so
15 years.
The gerrymandering in the Senate is
Yeah.
you should see the maps.
In the Senate, right?
In the Senate.
But you know what's interesting, though, Linda? What's hopeful is one of the most gerrymandered seats in the House. I always talk about this was House Lager's seat, right?
Right.
They literally drew the district for House Lager
because Brian Bosma was his college roommate.
right, and then look at
Good roommate to have.
and then look, Chris
Yeah,
Chung
no
won
kidding.
Draw me a
Chris
seat.
Chung won the district
I
through
know.
hard work, and so you can do it. Like Chris Chung did it, right?
Chris is remarkable.
Yeah,
He is
he's a
one of
hard
a
work-
kind.
yeah.
I sat down with him 18 months before he decided to run. We sat at Mishkanot's on
Ridge Road.
In Ridge Road, and we sat there for a couple of hours, and we talked about everything that he was going to have to do. I was the floor leader, so it was okay for me to start giving advice. And I just told him it's not going to be easy. I mean, this is probably one of the most difficult races in the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
You are facing Brian's college roommate.
His
and
buddy.
Did you read,
in a district that was drawn for him.
Did you read the endorsement from the Times, though, this year about how great Hal was? And I thought, he got all that. It was just all filtered to him. It was handed to him by Brian.
By the way, I took a picture. This is so. I'm glad you brought this up. I took a picture of that endorsement piece that the Times did.
Yeah.
Every person was like a white male, white female. There was no minorities, hardly any women at all. It was just like good old boys club.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It
like
was a weird article.
How could you? I mean,
like,
seriously, don't take a position. Chris Chung has been amazing in that role.
Amazing.
Right? And then they
give him
like,
some credit at least.
They totally slap him and then just pick Hal
You
Slager.
can endorse Slager if you want. That's what Times wants to do. Have at it. But don't just say he hasn't done anything.
I think most people would agree Chris is a really dynamic, young, up-and-coming elected official. And, like, they didn't give him... They did the same thing with Mike Andrade. They said, we don't...
Absolutely. They said, we don't really know much about Mike Andrade. He's been everywhere.
He's amazing too, right?
Everywhere.
I love Mike Andrade.
He's been everywhere.
I don't even know the other guy's name.
I talked to him last night on the phone for 45 minutes. He calls me at 10 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, Mike, what's up?
By the way, Mike came in the studio, brought tequila, which makes him... And a ukulele player.
I had to
like,
bring...
That's a roving
you
party.
should have told me. I would have brought tequila. I thought it was a little
Where's
early,
your ukulele
but
player?
That's
right.
Yeah.
What do you play, Linda? Do you play any instruments?
No.
Really?
No. I took piano lessons when I was...
Are you good?
Oh, listen, Mrs. Perdicaris beat my hands with the ruler,
Really?
and
You
I
had a rough-
cried and
you had a
cried.
rough
That's a good way to not like the
listen,
piano.
that wasn't the first time. You know, she was awful.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I'm sure she's dead by now.
Interesting facts about Linda Lawson. Is there anything... you work out?
Not since I left the academy in 1976.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I do walk.
Nice.
I have 2.5 acres.
Now, you're in Nashville, which
In
is Brown
Nashville.
County, right?
I
Just like
live-
about 40 minutes east of Bloomington. Is that about right, or where is it?
It's 16
North,
miles.
16 miles north
Right,
of Bloomington.
right,
Okay.
Right.
And I live from here to the stoplight from Brown County State Park.
How cool.
And in my,
Really?
I have a little subdivision that I'm living in. It's called Park View, and I live on Park Lane. Isn't that cute?
It's easy to
that's nice.
find.
Yeah, and I'm on it about a Finger Lake. It's
Nice.
a little spring-fed lake, and it's really nice. And some guy on the other side puts fish in it every year.
We're trying to get Mayor down there so we can do some bike riding.
Mountain
You
biking.
would
Well, I'm going
love
to.
it.
We're going to.
Well, the interesting thing for
We're
my
gonna move
little
in. Though. I mean,
subdivision.
I hope it's.
Oh, that's fine. I've got
Yeah.
I've got plenty of
You're
room.
gonna be in the State House, so you'll have we can
You'll
just
each
crash
have your
out
own room and your own
Perfect.
bathroom. You
Awesome.
have to
Perfect.
share with
Yeah.
each
I
other.
appreciate
You know,
that.
I know.
You have-
I can imagine.
You have a lot of huge fans in my household. Not only my daughter Lindsey totally looks up to you, but my wife Marissa, the judge. Marissa,
Well, you know, Miss
is a
Marissa is a sweetie pie, isn't
huge
she?
fan of
ever?
Linda Lawson.
Yeah.
By the way,
yeah.
little known fact: when Marissa McDermott puts her name on the ballot, one of her biggest, earliest supporters, Linda Lawson,
Yep,
who's
that's
always
true.
a champion for women.
Yep.
Probably because of what you went through. But you were one of
Exactly.
Marissa's biggest early supporters, and
Yep,
I know she
absolutely.
appreciates that forever.
Yeah, and that's, you know, I if there's one thing in my life that I'm really, really proud of is the fact that I really, really hope women do well. You know, if they decide to throw their name on a ballot, if they decide to, you know, be a Girl Scout leader, or if they decide to have 7 kids and stay home, I hope that they're a success at it, and I don't care what, you know, their chosen, you know, avenue is. But
Linda puts her money where her mouth is too, because I saw it in action, and I saw other women leaders. I'm not going to get too specific during that same time frame that also say the same thing Linda just said. But when the time was to put their money where their mouth was, they were not there for Marissa, but Linda Lawson was, along with a lot of other women leaders. But
Right.
It's funny though; not everyone feels the same
Yeah.
way you do like that.
Oh no, I said just in a conversation with a group of people in the last few days. Believe me, I can't remember where it was, but I said I can't believe with 52% of the it was an election deal. 52% of the population of the state of Indiana is female. Why aren't all the
Get out the
women
vote.
in the State House women? That's what I want to know.
Right?
Well, you got to leave a couple spots
No,
for us guys.
no. Listen, you've run the show for a long
Don't blame me for my
time.
ancestors.
Don't
you know?
marginalize us.
Don't, like, come on.
I get blamed a lot for the shit that happened in the 60s and 70s. So I
You
don't-
do?
I do. Like
Sure.
no. I mean,
Like what, in the city?
No, you know what? In the city, I get sued over stuff that happened in the 80s still to this day.
You know,
like,
my favorite
Lawsuits
one,
right now.
Right.
My favorite one when I used to go in and visit Dad at his office, there was this one guy who was dead certain Dad was responsible for the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. And
Well,
Dad
letters.
was 3 when it happened.
Oh yeah, I get
Get
that
some
a
crazy
lot.
letters.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
get stupid stuff. But like, there's a lawsuit we dealt with over wrongful imprisonment in the Hammond Police Department
Still
that
going.
took place when I was like 10 years old.
Yes,
and like
still
and I'm
going.
dealing with the
Yeah.
issue now. It's like,
Yeah, but I guess that the city of Hammond is the target, not necessarily
Right,
you.
That's true.
Right,
Yeah,
true.
And the department.
But
so.
little did I know when I was 10 that there was something happening that was going to
Oh,
affect
yeah,
my adult
Lord,
life.
don't we know? If
Right.
I would have known what was happening in my life when I was 10 years old, I'd have changed a few things too.
Well, you've got about 12 days left, I think, or no, I'm sorry, 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today.
14 days to
14
run.
days.
So we want to wish you luck.
Yes.
And thanks for
I already
coming
voted
on.
for you guys.
I did too.
Yeah.
Already done.
I did too.
Me too.
Yes. Good.
Oh,
Wow.
thank you, Lindsey.
You're winning.
Thank you. We're winning.
We gotta
right
get John
in
to
this
the
room.
polls.
Yeah.
John hasn't been to the polls yet.
John,
I like to go on election
what are you
day.
waiting
Oh,
for?
you're
I like
right.
to go on
John's a
election day.
traditionalist.
I am.
You're right. John
I
is.
I like
old
the
school.
feeling of waking up
And going on like it's a holiday. It is a holiday.
It
in a
is a
way.
holiday.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is
So,
I feel like it's important for me to like vote early so I could post it and tell people to vote early as a public service. By the way, Kevin, election board, Kevin.
Yes, on my way to election
They
board.
are blocking people from bringing their phone in to vote, which is not good for voter
So
turnout.
here's the issue.
I hate that.
Here's the issue. We need to get with the commissioners because it's
I'm telling you.
it's the courthouse issue.
Yeah, so don't bring them in the courthouse. But
Right.
like, I can't take a picture of myself voting, which is good for voter turnout, which is not a
Absolutely.
good policy for us to follow.
I will
Like,
bring it up
right?
today. I'll bring it
It's
up
absolutely
today.
like this lady and I got into an argument. She's like, "You can't bring your phone in." I said, "I'm bringing my phone in because I take a picture of the ballot. It's
Which
good
you
for
can
voter
do.
turnout." And she said, "You cannot. The judges won't let you bring it in." I'm like, "I'm not going into the courtroom. I'm going to take a picture." And
Wow.
I end up leaving the
We're
phone
gonna-
in the car.
we'll get onto that today.
It's insane.
I'll bring that up
Like
today.
I think we all want higher voter turnout, and these people that are monitoring the polls are like very vigilant about keeping.
I think it's the fact that those are courthouses. So,
But
like, if you're doing it at Wicker
didn't
Park,
go
I
into
think
the
I understand
courthouse.
what you're saying.
Right.
Well, you're in the courthouse. You're not in the courtroom.
I didn't go in the courtroom.
Fair enough.
I do
Okay.
know
We'll
that
bring
in
it
the
up.
past at Russell Street, I have been able to
I
bring
have
my
too.
phone in.
We-
I
you
know
and I did it together.
Yeah,
both.
I did
Right.
too there.
But
Right.
like this year,
Now this
they
year they're-
refused
It's weird.
to
No,
let
they're
me.
We'll
blocking
figure it out.
phones.
Like the woman came out of the building and was like,
Yeah.
"You cannot bring your
She
phone." in."
did.
I was like, "I don't even have it. Like I put it in the
No,
car
she's
already."
like put the phone in the car, and I'm like, I had Tommy with me. I gave it to him, and I didn't take a picture this year.
Yeah, it's
which is not
ridiculous.
good
So
for
I
voter
will.
turnout.
I'll figure
Take
out
a
why that's
picture of
happening.
Your sticker like everybody else does.
Yeah.
I put mine on the back of my phone.
I've got mine still. All right, Linda.
All
Thank
right.
you.
We
Thank
appreciate you very much.
Good luck.
We're voting for you. We're supporting you. We're donating to you. I think you and Woody are the answer for Indiana. Just keep going. 2 more weeks.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Good luck. Go get them.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
coming
so
on
much.
Left of
All right.
Center.
You want
Thank
to wrap up with the last two?
We'll do it next time. We're
Okay,
good.
no problem.
Yeah.
Everybody, it was a great guest today, Linda
20th
Lawson.
show. We're in
Yeah.
the 20s.
On Friday, again, we have Eric Tonk, who recently completed a 1,000-mile bike trip around Lake Michigan.
I heard about this.
Yeah, it
Going
was
to
in
be
the
on.
post review.
Listen Friday, Linda.
Yeah, he's going to be on Friday.
I do listen to you.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. We appreciate it. We listen to you too, and we're looking forward to voting for you. Please go out and vote for Woody Myers and Linda Lawson for Indiana governor and lieutenant governor. She's a Hammond woman, grew up in Hammond. Now she lives in Nashville, Indiana. She's going to do great things for us. Former law enforcement, school board member, state rep. She's totally qualified to be a great lieutenant governor. So give them a vote. Thank you, everybody, for watching Left of Center. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you to Linda and John for doing a great job.
Thanks.
Thanks, Linda.
My name's Lindsay.
Thanks, Lindsay.